and welcome. I'm Tiffany Wong, and here's what happened this week. China is publicizing internship opportunities for Taiwanese students. Amid cross-strait tensions, this is raising alarm bells in Taiwan, with some calling them part of China's United Front tactics. Cadence Kwanzaa reports.
This summer, hundreds of Taiwanese students may have been offered internships in China, with around 280 internship spots, largely with Chinese state-owned enterprises, being publicized online, providing free room and board and a daily stipend. Some are warning these opportunities are part of China's attempts to influence Taiwan, part of Beijing's United Front strategy.
有别于过往，不只是吃喝玩乐交流，还砸钱吸引台湾青年赴中国实习，提醒年轻人要停看听，避免落入统战的圈套。
The internships are part of a Chinese program that started in 2016. It's reportedly part of Beijing's wider efforts to sway Taiwanese young people, including through summer camps, tours, and other activities, largely paid for by the Chinese government, that advance its propaganda. Some within Taiwan's education industry say that given rising tensions across the Taiwan Strait, they wouldn't help promote these internships to students.
大概在去年，大概就全面都断绝这个学术交流的管道了，包括我们老师现在如果要去参加大陆的学术交流，我们都也很谨慎。如果是国际性的，我们 OK， 但是如果是大陆他主办的一些学术研讨会，我们大概教育部都建议我们不要去了。
Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council, which manages relations with China, has in the past warned against these tactics, though it was not willing to provide a comment on these internships specifically when asked by TaiwanPlus. It's unclear how many Taiwanese students will actually participate in these internships, which will run until early August. But it's another example of China stepping up its efforts to influence Taiwan. John Su and Cadence Kwanzaa for TaiwanPlus.
Cross-strait tensions have flared up at the World University Games in Germany. Shortly after Taiwan's team celebrated a win in Taekwondo, Chinese team officials seemingly sought to interfere in a photo op. Leslie Liao has the story.
A moment of victory and celebration cut short by confrontation. Taiwan's men's Taekwondo team won silver at the 2025 World University Games in Germany. As the medalists posed for a photo, tempers flared when members of China's team approached, seemingly trying to interfere. China and Taiwan have long been at odds politically. Beijing says Taiwan is part of its sovereign territory and suppresses any of Taiwan's attempts to represent itself independently. That's the reason why Taiwan must compete as Chinese Taipei instead of Taiwan at international sporting events like the World University Games. This spat in Germany stems from the same motivations. Chinese officials sought to snatch the Taiwan government's congratulatory message to the winning athletes out of their hands, wanting to see if the document said Chinese Taipei and not Taiwan.
我国男子团体再度获得银牌，中国队又再次前来抢夺我们的贺电。我在这里严厉地谴责中国队这么不明的犯罪行为。
This is not the first time Chinese interference has affected Taiwan at an international sporting event. At last year's Paris Olympics, Taiwanese spectators who brought posters or signs that displayed the word Taiwan or had Taiwan iconography had them taken away on some occasions. And while the Olympics has at least some regulations banning the display of the Taiwan flag, the head of Taiwan's sports administration says the rules are different at the World University Games.
德国是民主自由国家，颁发贺电给我们自己的选手。 与喊台湾加油对我们自己选手的支持，完全不是奥会模式的范围。中国队，请勿再将奥会模式无限上纲，伤害台湾人民的情感。
Regardless of politics, Taiwan is having an impressive run at the World University Games. It's so far captured 2 gold, 6 silver, and 5 bronze medals, ranking 10th on the medals table. Any win from here on in may be considered even more impressive, as athletes may have to deal with the added pressure from potential Chinese interference. Luffy Li and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
For the second time, all of President Lai Ching-te's nominees for top judicial positions have failed to gain approval from the legislature. The main opposition, Kuomintang, and the Taiwan People's Party rejected all 7 nominees, leaving them short of the 57 votes needed to be appointed. With almost half the seats on Taiwan's constitutional court left empty, it has not been able to hear cases due to a new measure requiring a minimum of 10 justices to do so. Members of a special European Parliament Committee on Protecting Democracy were in Taiwan this week. They were here to learn about Taiwan's approach to countering foreign interference and disinformation, threats they say the EU also faces. As the delegation wrapped up its visit, our reporter, Cadence Quaranta, sat down with their head, Natalie Lusso, for an exclusive interview.
The European Parliament Special Committee on the European Democracy Shield has suggested that Taiwan and Europe face similar threats to democracy. I'm wondering if you can talk about some of these threats specifically and the similarities between the threats that the EU and Taiwan face.
Sure. We created a special committee in the European Parliament to protect our democracies because our democracies are under attack. And it's a global phenomenon. It's a global pandemic, if I may say so, because authoritarian regimes don't like healthy democracies. Healthy democracies compete positively with authoritarian regimes. Who would like to live in a dictatorship when democracies are healthy? So authoritarian regimes are trying to weaken us, to divide us, and are using hybrid threats and hybrid attacks to do so. Information manipulation, cyber attacks, interferences of all sorts. And these are things that we witness in Europe, especially since the start of the full-fledged war of aggression of Russia in Ukraine. And this is something that Taiwan is facing as well. So for us, it was obvious that we needed to come here to Taiwan to share experiences, good practices, good ideas, and bring them back home.
And so I just want to go backtrack for a minute. So you said that I guess EU is facing threats from authoritarian regimes. What regimes are there? I know Taiwan, we know that Taiwan is facing threats from China. What regimes is the EU facing threats from specifically?
The biggest threat to the EU right now is Russia. There is no doubt about it because we are supporting Ukraine resisting against the Russian aggression. But even before that, Russia was already interfering in our electoral processes, for instance. But we also see some impact of China's unfriendly behavior. When they are sabotages of undersea cables, the ones that are taking place right now in the Baltic Sea are very comparable to the ones that Taiwan is facing. We also faced cyber attacks, and not all of them are coming from Russia. Some are, I don't know if they are attributed, but are characterized as very similar to the ones that Chinese hackers are used to doing. And there is also this pressure on Chinese diasporas in Europe. Police stations, clandestine police stations, have been set up by Chinese embassies in Europe to put pressure on Chinese students or Chinese diaspora. And there is this espionage in our research centers or universities. So many things together that make us feel uncomfortable. We don't want to have tense relations with China, but we want China to respect our sovereignty.
And I guess EUDS has said this is an opportunity for deepened EU-Taiwan cooperation on these issues. I guess can you give some specific examples of how the EU and Taiwan can deepen cooperation in these areas?
We do think in the European Parliament, for instance, that an investment agreement between Taiwan and the European Union would be a plus for both sides. We also think that cultural relations are important, and that, again, on cybersecurity, we should be more present because we know that there is a lot of Taiwanese expertise considering what you're facing daily. But because you have a risk of being overwhelmed or exhausted, because it's a hybrid war of attrition, your friends and partners should be at your side.
I spoke to an expert this morning who said that I guess what she's most worried about is, I guess, Russia and China learning from each other and working together. Is there a sense, I guess, that there needs to be also an alliance on the other side with EU, Taiwan, and other countries?
There is no doubt that Russia and China are learning from each other. Russia was probably the first to start propaganda wars at the beginning of the 20th century, and been doing so during the Soviet era and since Putin became president. And China has learned a lot from Russia, but China has huge means. So it means when the two ally together, it has a very destructive effect on public opinions, or at least it tries to. In this fight, democracies have to team up together because we believe in the same sort of values. We value differences of opinions, but we value facts, we value science, we value people, and we value freedom of the people, freedom to make their own informed choices, and not to be forced to choose one or another leader based on lies and on coercion and pressure.
That was Nathalie Loiseau, the head of a special EU parliamentary delegation to Taiwan. Taiwan is deepening ties with Somaliland, welcoming its foreign minister to Taipei as both governments push back against authoritarian pressure.
近期，威权阵营持续以新形态胁迫，加强对台所国际参与的打压。对此，我们双边应该继续深化伙伴关系，展现民主同盟的韧性，以及捍卫价值的坚定立场。
Somaliland's foreign minister thanked Taiwan for its support and said their partnership remains firm despite mounting international pressure. The self-governing region declared independence from Somalia in 1991, but is not internationally recognized. Taiwan and Somaliland also signed a Coast Guard cooperation deal, a step forward in maritime collaboration. The medical industry is the latest field where Taiwan is pushing to leverage its AI power to become a global player. That aim was on display at Taipei's leading medical industry trade show, BioAsia. As Chris Gorin reports, while AI is getting a big push from the government, researchers say professionals still need to be careful.
Taiwan's AI ambitions are reaching into healthcare, and that's clear here at BioAsia in Taipei, one of the world's largest healthcare industry events. Companies from across the sector have put their innovations on display here. That includes medical devices, a sizable industry in Taiwan worth about $5 billion annually. It also got a boost during the COVID-19 pandemic thanks to higher demand and supply chain disruptions in China. Companies here not only manufacture these big machines, but some also offer virtual training on how to use them without having to enter a clean room. But Taiwan is best known globally for its computer hardware and crucial role in AI supply chains. Now, the government is betting that strength will help propel it into the future of healthcare.
因应这样的先进的发展，我们在资通讯、人工智慧、大数据等等科技日渐进步底下，生技产业也朝向多元化、智慧化来做发展。
Taiwan's cabinet recently proposed a more than $3 billion AI plan that includes funds for medical projects. And researchers here say AI has enormous potential to accelerate medical breakthroughs.
AI is particularly useful when we do not know exactly what we're trying to analyze. And then it could integrate all the information and tell us what is most interpretable as informative features. We use it in drug development, target identification.
But they also say AI-assisted research still requires caution.
If you're really using modern AI, then trying to get answers out means pushing yourself to the forefront of technology and asking, how can you reverse engineer what an AI algorithm was doing? So transparency of the data as well as the algorithm is important for verification.
So with official backing and a leg up from AI, Taiwan is hoping to sharpen its biotech prowess and maybe save some lives along the way. Yisun Chun and Chris Gorin in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching Here's What Happened. Finally, check out Taylor Swift's new wax figures unveiled by Madame Tussauds in 13 cities around the world. She never goes out of style. I'm Tiffany Wong. Take care and see you next week.